You're watching Capital One Bowl Mania.
It is the most anticipated bowl game to date. The Duke's Mayo Bowl, all a part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Welcome to Bank of America Stadium in Uptown Charlotte. It's a clash of Carolinas, North against South, ACC against SEC. And a good morning to you, Anish Shroff, Mike Golick Jr., Taylor McGregor is down on the field. Well, safe to say, outside of the college football playoff, no bowl game has greater stakes than this one. Let's get to the end game. We're about to see a grown man willfully subject himself to a 4.5-gallon mayonnaise bath.
In my lifetime, I cannot remember a more anticipated moment for college football's bowl season here. Two coaches bought in, ready to get slathered, covered, and all lubed up with some great mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise awaits the winning coach. That'll be Mack Brown or Shane Beamer. Taylor McGregor caught up with both of them a little while ago.
Thanks, Anish. Here with both head coaches, and Mac, for the first time in your career, you will face off against a coach whose dad you also faced off against. What does it mean to you that it's Shane and the Beamer family?
Well, I love the family. They're about class and integrity. I grew up with Shane. Mom and Dad are two of our best friends. We were on Nike trips with them for years, and they always won. And they won with integrity at Virginia Tech. Frank's one of the classiest people I've ever seen, and I just see that in Shane. He's overcome expectations this year. Everybody talking about how tough things were going to be for him, and here he is in a bowl game at the end of his first year, and he's a superstar in the making, and I can't wait to watch him just keep growing. He reminds me of his dad so much.
Coach, when you got this job, you called him for advice. What does this mean to you?
It means a lot. Someone that I've had so much respect for so long, that's built programs at multiple places, but more importantly, he's done it the right way. We need more people like him in the profession that do it the right way, on and off the field, and his willingness to help me, a young coach who doesn't know anything, means a lot, because he doesn't have to do that. But I hope he knows that we're going to do things the right way at our place, and I know they are in Chapel Hill, and someone that I've admired for a long, long time.
All right, gentlemen, may the best man be Mayo today. Good luck to both of you guys.
You won't find two coaches more terrified to win a football game than those two.
But you also won't find two coaches more bought in. Mack Brown, a frying pan. No one. Mack Brown hit me in the face with a frying pan. That is the kind of buy-in you want to see from your coach that's going to permeate down those sidelines.
Shane Beamer, admittedly not a big mayonnaise guy, but willing to take one for the team in the name of charity and goodwill. $10,000 to the charity of the winning school from the Duke's Mayo Bowl. 65 degrees, light rain in the forecast. There were some forecasts calling for thunder showers. We hope those can hold off. We all want to get to the end. We all want to see one of these two head coaches get slathered with mayonnaise. Mack Brown, season 3 at North Carolina. Bit of a disappointing year. ACC favorites in the Coastal Division slumped to a 2-3 start. Finished 6-6. Did have that big win against Wake Forest.
Massive, and they arrived on the scene a little earlier than expected with their performance last year. An adjustment this season, but another great recruiting class on the way. Mack Brown continuing to build back this North Carolina program.
Meanwhile, Shane Beamer on the other sideline, getting to a bowl game in his first season as South Carolina's head coach. One of 4 new head coaches in the SEC this year.
And managed to improve their record so much. A win today would usurp their win total from the last 2 years combined. What he's been able to do with the quarterbacks that we'll talk about in rotation for the Gamecocks has been remarkable.
Gamecocks were 2-8 a season ago. South Carolina won the toss, elected to defer, so North Carolina will receive. Mitch Jeter to send it away, Caleb Hood to return for UNC. And we're ready to Mayo. It'll be North Carolina ball at the 25-yard line. Sam Howell projected by many as a first-round or borderline first-round pick. Would have been easy for him to opt out as the quarterback for this team. He explains why he was going to play today.
It wasn't really a decision to be made when it comes down to playing the bowl game. I just love this team, and I love playing football. That's the main thing. I love this sport, so it wouldn't sit right for me not playing the bowl game.
That's rare, Anish. We talk about all the time the opportunity ahead of a lot of these players. Sam Howell wants one more ride with his brothers.
Howell comes out throwing over the middle. He's got a first down. It's Antoine Green, who's been the big play receiver for North Carolina this year, averaging 20 a catch.
And it's great that Sam Howell's out there because you're going to see this entire offense. There's so many moving parts. It only works when you've got a decision maker as tenured and as accomplished as Sam Howell in the backfield.
Ty Chandler, 1,000-yard back, is the tailback. He gets the call and turbines his way upfield across the 45. Give him 11 and a first down. That's the third leading rusher in the ACC behind Syracuse's Sean Tucker and Duke's Mateo Durant. And this is the #1 rushing offense in the conference, led by Chandler and the quarterback Howell. South Carolina showing some pressure. And to midfield and across, Brad Johnson making the stop. South Carolina defensively missing a couple of key pieces. J.J. Enigbari, their future NFL defensive end, opted out of this game. They're also without their best cover corner, Cam Smith.
And we know this is a pass defense ranked second in the conference this year. Pass rush, pass protection, and of course that deep spot both tied together, so going to be hard and a challenge for them to overcome today.
It's a ball hawking defense, but again without Cam Smith. Chandler searching for running room and takes it inside the 45 of South Carolina. Third down, where UNC has been top 20 nationally this year at 46%.
And getting it going on the ground. You look at the last 5 games for South Carolina on defense. Over 1,000 rushing yards allowed, right around 5.4 yards per carry. Rush still in play on this third down and short, where we're probably in 4-down territory.
Howell under pressure gets away. And then thrown to the ground back at the 45 by Jabari Ellis. It looked like Sam Howell might have been calling for a face mask. Didn't see one initially. It's 4th down. The punt team will come on.
And this is a full line slide the other way. He just goes unblocked. Normally, if the offensive line's all sliding in one direction, you've got a running back inserting off the other side. And you see right here him coming over the top.
Aaron Sterling may have gotten a piece of that face mask. Josh Vann will return the punt. And Ben Kiernan, originally from Dublin, Ireland, to punt it away. Line drive kick. Both of these teams have had a knack for blocking kicks this year. And this one lands inside the 10-yard line. A 47-yard punt. Well, dearest mother, Colonel Zebulon Noland will make his final collegiate start. The hour of battle has arrived, and boy, it's been a quarterback carousel. Noland came to South Carolina as a GA back in May. An injury to Luke Doty opened the door for Noland early in the season to start. Doty gets hurt. He's out for the year. Jason Brown finished the year as the starter. Brown's in the transfer portal. So Noland's the quarterback, but South Carolina comes out with Dakarian Joyner in the Wildcat. We expect to see a lot of that today. And he'll hand it off on first down. It's Jaheim Bell. These South Carolina coaches said they would have to get creative in the run game. Zaquandre White, their top rusher down the stretch, has opted out. They say they need to run the ball to have a chance today. They're not going to win it throwing it. You're going to see Jaheim Bell, who lines up all over. You'll see a lot of Joyner in the Wildcat.
Jaheim Bell, the Swiss Army knife. Pro Football Focus had him on the All-SEC second team this year. He took snaps at running back in spring. He's going to be all over this Carolina offense today. South Carolina offense.
Got to clarify today. Nolan takes the snap, hands it off to Kevin Harris. And like a bowling ball, he's across the 35, brought down by UNC's leading tackler, Cedric Gray. Kevin Harris last year led the SEC in rushing. He's battled injuries really from the get-go this year.
And you don't see a ton of burst from him still, I think, working back from that. But this is a really savvy runner, a guy who understands where he fits in protection. And you'll watch him change speed, keep defenders off balance.
Yeah, look at the difference. South Carolina in wins and losses, the rushing disparity.
False start. Offense, number 52. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Jalen Nichols, the left tackle, one of 3 starting offensive linemen for South Carolina from Charlotte.
Nice homecoming. And this offensive line for South Carolina has had a year. 8 different guys starting games, 6 different offensive line combos. Not a lot of continuity, but down the stretch, finding their footing.
Wildcat look again to Kerryon Joyner. Will take the snap. He is a converted quarterback. Joyner rolling to his right, launches off his back foot, and completes! Jaheim Bell! House call!
Wax on, wax off for Jaheim Bell. Pour some Mayo on me, baby. All across the board. So you got a tendency breaker, right? You're not expecting DK Joyner to necessarily throw. You've seen a lot of run. And then look at Bell adjust when the ball's in the air. Running that deep post on the backside. He straightens the route out, gets underneath this.
A flag down. South Carolina had that swinging gate formation.
False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. Try for point.
That's Hank Mands.
And don't let that false start tempo what's been a wild start for South Carolina, establishing the ground game, going over the top, and getting up on the board early.
Parker White chasing some history today. The extra point is good, and he's now 2 points away from tying Elliott Fry's school record. Pulling out all the strings in the Duke Mayo Bowl. Joyner to Bell to get the Gamecocks on the board first.
7-0 Gamecocks here in Charlotte, and look at the adjustment by Jaheim Bell at the top of this route here. Look covered down. Joyner gives it some legs, and he adjusts and gets underneath that for the first score of the game.
And a bit of deja vu for North Carolina. Remember how their season ended against NC State. Got beat over the top by a couple of late touchdowns in a game that they had a 99.9% win probability with 2 minutes to go.
The back end of this North Carolina defense had to do a little soul searching after that one. South Carolina going right at him to start.
Our college football look ahead is brought to you by Dollar General. Friday's games, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, Rutgers making an entry. They'll take on Wake Forest, runner-up in the ACC this year. And then the 2 college football playoff games, Bama and Cincinnati. Michigan and Georgia should be a defensive slugfest. Alabama, Cincinnati, very few giving the Bearcats a chance. We had them twice this season. What does Cincy need to do to have a shot against Bama?
They need the back end of that defense. A couple of Thorpe semifinalists in Sauce Gardner and Kobe Bryant to go out there and be special against that Alabama wide receiver core.
Sam Howell downfield for Josh Downs, adjusting and can't hold on the All-American Jalen Foster in coverage as we check in with Taylor.
Well, as you mentioned, Cam Smith, South Carolina's best corner, unavailable here today. Speaking with Clayton White, defensive coordinator, right before kickoff, I asked if this changes the defensive play call at all. He said no, because with everything that's been uncertain surrounding this program, who could not play and why, they needed to be prepared for anything. And so a lot of guys have gotten reps with the first team, and they feel like even though he is their best corner, they're going to have a smooth transition.
Given what we've seen unfold over the last couple of weeks, you can bet a lot of players are getting first-team reps, and that is ruled incomplete for Chandler. Small victory. We're here today calling this game. They're playing this game. The fans can be here, given what we've seen unfold.
And that volatility Taylor mentioned, that's also a normal part of bowl season, right? Young players getting reps. It's like a spring football practice for the first 8-9 practices of bowl season. You've got guys now in position starting to look forward towards 2022, getting valuable reps today.
Both schools have large alumni bases in the Charlotte area, and it's the South Carolina contingent getting loud on 3rd and 10. Howell directing traffic, takes a hit, throws, and it's complete. Antoine Green stretching, and this is going to be close. He appears to have it, and they will move the chains. A first down catch for Antoine Green.
Way to stay alive, come back to the ball, and then look at the stretch. Outstanding effort, a couple of great early catches from Antoine Green. And we're going to see all day, Anish, Josh Downs, their great slot receiver, going to be on a lot of these inside of 3 formations, trying to get him matched up with a nickel or a safety.
Sam.
Maybe stopping this to take a view.
There is no foul for a false start, and there is no charge timeout for South Carolina. Prior to all of that, instant replay has paged us. The ruling on the field of a first down is under further review.
So they will look at the last play called up from the replay booth. While they review, we'll step aside.
The Duke's Mayo Bowl is brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise, the only mayo with twang, and The Book of Boba Fett, now streaming only on Disney+.
North Carolina went to Queen Park Social in Charlotte for some bowling. Both teams were at Charlotte Motor Speedway as well. They reviewed the last play. You see where Antoine Green's foot goes down, the knee goes down. It goes down well shy of that marker, so it's now 4th and 1, and the punt team forced to come on for the Tar Heels. Kiernan sends it away. Josh Vann will let it bounce. It takes a Tar Heel bounce inside the 25-yard line. It's been an odyssey for Zeb Noland. He began his career at Iowa State, was in Ames for a couple of seasons, played in 9 games, had a huge game against Oklahoma in 2018, then went to Fargo, North Dakota to play for the Bison of North Dakota State, came to South Carolina in May as a graduate assistant. Then Luke Doty hurt his foot right before the season opener. Noland named the starter week 1, throws 4 touchdown passes, gets hurt week 3 against Georgia, came off the bench to lead a rally in a comeback win against Vanderbilt, and now starting the bowl game with Doty out for the season. Jason Brown in the transfer portal, and there's DeCarrion Joyner, who's 2 for 2 throwing, or rather Juju McDowell making the catch off the throw from Joyner, the Wildcat quarterback. So we're seeing Joyner out there. I guess maybe you stick with DeCarrion after he threw a dime to Jaheim Bell off his back foot.
The confidence on that touchdown throw, too. It looked covered down, and he said, no, coach called the play. My time to shine. Holy Mayo, Batman.
Joyner had been playing wide receiver for South Carolina, but he did come to school as a quarterback. Joyner will run. And scampers out of bounds. No gain. Offensively for South Carolina, we mentioned the need to run the football. That run game taking a big hit without Saquandre White. He's opted out. So you're seeing the creativity. You're seeing Joyner in there. Noland comes back in. Offensive coordinator Marcus Satterfield, who was actually an assistant with the Panthers and is familiar with the stadium, was telling us they're going to have to get creative and a little funky offensively today. High snap. Noland off play action. A strike to Bell. He breaks away. Jaheim Bell, another touchdown. 66 yards.
What a red-hot start for this Gamecocks team. And Anish, you mentioned all the things they've done to get them off balance here. Look at Nolan, a great on-time throw. And then Jaheim Bell, we talked about all the ways they want to try and get him the football in space. You see why now. He has breakaway speed.
They'll go for two. They saw something. They get it. It's Muse, the tight end, who brings it in. Kai Kroger, who's the holder and also the punter delivering the pass. And what a start for South Carolina. Jaheim Bell, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. One from 69, one from 66. Two long touchdown passes, 2 different quarterbacks. DeCarrion Joyner, who had not thrown a pass in 2 years. The first one to Jaheim Bell, 69 yards. Then Zeb Noland, 66 yards, and Jaheim Bell has really evolved as a receiver. They love his upside. He's lived on the jugs machine this year, worked on his route running, worked on his ball skills. You're starting to see maybe a glimpse of what could be a breakout season in 2022.
This is a meticulously detailed player who's now applied that to this portion of the craft. They want him to do a lot. He's getting better at doing the little things.
Caleb Hood inside his own 5. And down to about the 20-yard line. Marked down at the 19. Full circle for Sam Howell. He has not announced whether this will be his last game as a Tar Heel. It is expected he goes pro. A native of Indian Trail, North Carolina, right outside of Charlotte. First career start as a Tar Heel in this stadium against South Carolina. And this, in all likelihood, his last career start as a Tar Heel in this stadium against South Carolina. If and when he leaves, he'll be the most decorated quarterback in school history. And the give to British Brooks, who is swarmed in the backfield on first down by Alex Huntley. He owns pretty much every major passing record at UNC, 3rd all-time in ACC history in touchdown passes. He came to Carolina at the same time Mac Brown did, and this is phase 1 of the program. Talking to Mac yesterday, boy, are they excited about where this is going from here with a top 10 recruiting class coming in.
He set the tempo. He set the standard for this team, and his decision to play in this game is just another element of that.
There's British Brooks, team leader, former walk-on, who in his last 2 games was incredibly productive on the ground. In fact, he had more yards in those 2 than his entire career up until that point. The team wanted him to come back for a 5th year, so did the coaches. British Brooks is coming back next year as a 5th year.
He's been a sensational, productive player for them. The one we haven't heard from so far that I'd be looking for is number 11, Josh Downs, at the slot at the bottom of this formation.
He has 98 catches to lead the ACC. Howell will look to run, and he's taken down. This South Carolina defense playing with intensity early. It's Strawn and Huntley there. And it's 4th down for the Heels.
North Carolina's allowed 45 sacks on the season, and you see the twisting and stunting up front. They brought one more than you can block. They create some of those seams, and we mentioned J.J. Anigbari out for this game, opted out for the NFL. You're seeing Aaron Sterling, Jordan Strawn, and the rest of that group step up on the perimeter.
Another punt for Kiernan. South Carolina almost got there. 4 blocked kicks this season, including 3 blocked punts. Clutch delivery brought to you by Chipotle.
I still can't get over The adjustment at the top of this route by Bell, the courage to throw that ball for DeCarrion Joyner. You mentioned hadn't thrown a pass in 2 years. That's how you come off. But bowl season's about tendency breakers, Anish. Self-scout and figuring out, what have we put on tape? How can we do it different?
And you wondered how ready was North Carolina for a DeCarrion Joyner, especially for Joyner to throw the ball. He's thrown it twice this year, hadn't thrown it in 2 years.
And back under center now to start this drive. This is going to be a steady diet of this all day.
A Joyner will throw again. Now flushed. Buying time. And picks up a nice chunk of yards on first down, driven out of bounds. No flag as we check in with Taylor.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
We'll get to Taylor in a moment. Right now it's Jaleel Taylor down on the field for UNC, right at the line of scrimmage.
Certainly not what you want to see for anyone. Bowl game right now, that last opportunity of the season for North Carolina on that side. But look at this last play, the right side of the screen. You're going to see 52 in blue right there, locked up with the offensive lineman. And you see that help by Jalen Nichols, the left tackle for South Carolina. Didn't really see a lot of what happened there to him. Again, didn't appear to be anything to the head or neck.
They'll help Taylor off the field. We'll go down to our Taylor McGregor. Taylor?
There's a sense of defeat down here on the North Carolina sideline, getting down by this much this early. Mack Brown came over to his defense in between series and said, hey, get your head up. It's only halfway through the first quarter. We haven't done anything right. It is time to wake up.
We've seen North Carolina. They've been down in some games. They've come back. Both of these teams have had a knack for that this season. Joyner remains in at quarterback. And the give is to Kevin Harris. He seems to be running much better today. We told you the injuries that he had all season. Had a back procedure before the year started. Missed the season opener with illness. He's had to battle through an ankle injury. That time between your last regular season game and your bowl game, having a month off, you can recuperate and rest a little bit.
The three best words for every veteran player to hear at the beginning of bowl season: young guy scrimmage. Go over there in a helmet and shorts on the sideline. Make sure you're getting treatment in the training room and get back to us better and healthier when we actually play the game.
Noland now comes under center. And it's Harris again. And he's to the 40-yard line, and this looks like the Kevin Harris we saw against Florida this year. The Kevin Harris who had some monster games on the road last year for South Carolina.
He was incredible. In 10 games last year, over 1,100 yards on the ground. As we see Jaheim Bell back on the field right now. If you're North Carolina's defense, as soon as Zero jogs out there, I'm making sure we got everything tilted his way at this point.
Joyner's the quarterback. Bell and Muse, the two tight ends. Harris zigzags his way across the 35. First down, South Carolina. And right now the Gamecocks are just gashing this North Carolina defense.
And it's been the difference this season. We know sometimes football can get boiled down too much to say rushing the ball and stopping the rush, but when we've seen them against Florida, against Auburn, the big wins they've had, it's been on the ground. And you see the disparity right there already to start the day.
South Carolina has run 10 plays for 208 yards. Joyner will keep this. He's got the 30. Lowers his shoulder, takes a big hit. They may have to tell him, hey, there's not a ton of quarterback depth today. You've got Zeb Noland behind Noland and I guess Joyner. Colton Gauthier, who's thrown one pass in his career, a true freshman.
And you saw the whole backside of that defense bites on the run fake, but this is the adjustment you've got to make now. You didn't have in the scouting report for Zeb Noland, dual threat, guy that was going to hurt you on the ground. You got to upgrade the software as a defense now on the sideline and say, we got to stay home on the backside.
Offensive coordinator Marcus Satterfield has come up with an A-plus game plan early on. Bell. And that time he is ambushed. A loss of 4 on the play. Chris Collins getting in the backfield, 2nd and long.
And so now for all the deception, the sleight of hand that we've kind of seen on this South Carolina offense, you get down in the red zone and it falls on the group up front. When we talked to Marcus Satterfield, he said, we've got to have our O-line be able to win down in the red zone here where it matters most.
Jaheim Bell lined up at the very top of your screen. Josh Vann, South Carolina's top receiver, at the bottom. Muse motions out. Handoff is to Harris. And he's close to the original line of scrimmage, 3rd down.
Anish, South Carolina, their last 12 red zone possessions have only come out with 6 touchdowns. They've been able to thrive on big plays this year. Red zone has not been their friend. 120th in red zone offense this college football season.
Zeb Noland back in at quarterback. That position will look different next year when Spencer Rattler is taking the snaps, the Oklahoma transfer, who came to the Gamecocks along with Austin Stogner, the big Sooners tight end. Noland now is split wide.
Play clock running down.
With split backs. He'll give it to Bell. Bell trying that left side, stiff arms his way inside the 15. And the field goal unit will trot on for South Carolina. Parker White with a made field goal here will set the school record in career points.
Already your all-time leader in games played, had 59 games coming into this. Remarkable career kicking for the Gamecocks.
If he kicks 3 field goals today, he'll tie Colin Mackey's school record for career made field goals. From 30. And White's kick is good. He breaks Elliott Fry's school record for points, and he has given South Carolina an 18-0 lead in this opening quarter.
And up the degree of difficulty on this one. Credit to his holder. Look at the high snap on this one. Kai Kroger gets this ball down, gets the laces out. That's why you see those guys hug after every made kick, because it takes the whole battery to make this work.
Taylor?
About the possibility of this early on in the week, and he said he knew it was close but not something he was super focused on. But I will tell you who was focused on it, and that's Elliott Fry. The two of them work out together in the offseason, and Elliott had told Parker, if you break the record, I have a present for you, and I'm also going to take you out to Hall's Chop House in Columbia at the end of this game.
So he's not going to dump him with 4.5 gallons of mayo?
Maybe. I don't know what the present is. That could be the present.
That is true. Listen, it would be in the spirit of the bowl game. All I'm saying, Elliott, think about it. Plans are best when you can adjust.
Listen, if that was you, it's mayonnaise, it's food involved, you would gladly accept, wouldn't you?
Listen, I can dunk dinner off myself at that point. I'm a walking dip.
That's going to be a theme of this broadcast. What foods can you eat with mayonnaise that you may not think you can eat with mayonnaise? We'll get into that later on. We want to let you know what's coming up after us today. Tennessee and Purdue in the Music City Bowl. How about what Josh Heupel did in Season 1 in Knoxville? He has energized that fan base. Good things are ahead.
Hendon Hooker came on the middle of that season and really jump-started, put the jet fuel in that offense that we've seen hum at multiple stops.
Wisconsin, Arizona State, the Badgers were in this bowl game last year. In fact, they broke the trophy.
Graham Mertz, slippery hands in the winning locker room. We'll see if we have a sturdier grip today.
Sam Howell keeps it. That is something we have seen from Sam Howell this year. The quarterback run game really was not much of a runner his first 2 seasons. There are reasons for that. His first year, UNC just didn't have the quarterback depth behind him to risk injury. Last year, you had 2 NFL running backs in Javonte Williams and Michael Carter.
This is
Sam Howell looking at the scoreboard. It's all South Carolina. 18-0 Gamecocks. They've opened up a can of, well, let's say mayonnaise. Jaheim Bell, 2 long touchdown receptions.
North Carolina defensive tackle Jaleel Taylor, who was injured on the field a couple minutes ago, spent all of that time in the tent on the sideline, and they just took him into the locker room, guys.
All right, thank you, Taylor. Start of the second quarter, North Carolina looking for a spark offensively. Down 18-0, get 2 long touchdown catches by Jaheim Bell and a field goal by Parker White, along with a 2-point conversion, the scoring for the Gamecocks. Second down, British Brooks is the running back next to Howell. South Carolina showing pressure. Give this to Brooks. And able to pick up about 3. It's third down.
One thing we haven't seen yet, Anish, for North Carolina on offense is the screen game. Josh Downs is a really active part of that. They think he gives them a better than average chance of breaking one. And with South Carolina playing so up close to the line of scrimmage, could be a great chance to pop one.
Well, Downs without a catch in that opening quarter led the ACC with 98 receptions. Howell lost it, able to recover. He'll try to improvise. Spinning, and he's going to be a little shy of the marker, about a yard shy. Mike, I know it's a bowl game. It's fourth down. You're inside your own 35. Do you at least think about it here?
Absolutely. I think at this point in the game already, and you saw very low snap there, Sam did his best to get yards, and the offense rightly staying on the field.
Howell under center. He'll try to sneak it. And powers over that left side for a first down. There's Sam Howell. We were joking with the coaches, hey, if this is Sam's last game, with what awaits him on Sundays and his future, how much do you run him? And Mac Brown very candidly said he was battling a bum shoulder going into the NC State game, and they wanted to limit how much they ran him. And Sam told the coaching staff, hey, I'll run. You do what you do to win the game.
That's how he's built. Wants to go out here and win over 800 yards on the ground this year.
Howell's got time. He'll launch downfield for Olsen. And it's broken up. A fine defensive play by Darius Rush.
You see the ball skills from the converted wide receiver. Great job getting his head back and making a play on the football. You see the hand fighting, but the whole way, he's got eyes and is running the route step for step in the hip pocket of the wideout.
What does North Carolina have to do to get this offense moving? You mentioned the screen game, the short passes. We've seen very little of that.
Yep, you got to get the ball in the hands of your best players in space. Football's a simple game, and Josh Downs, you mentioned, hadn't touched it once yet.
On the delay, here's Brooks. He's got a big hole. British Brooks. It's a foot race. And the former walk-on from up the road in Gastonia takes it 63 yards. And North Carolina is on the board.
And what's a great way to take the teeth off of a rush? Run the draw. Slow play it. We call those softball runs here. You're not going downhill right away. And you saw the offensive line did a great job staying into the bodies of those defensive linemen. British Brooks finds a crease. House call.
3 60-plus yard touchdowns in this game. What did they feed these guys for breakfast today?
It was mayonnaise, Anish. It was mayonnaise.
We saw a waffle bar in the press box. Whatever is in that jar of Duke's mayonnaise. Oh boy, it's provided some big plays and fireworks so far. Fans, please join us virtually for the College Football Playoff all-access experience, exclusive content, games, and daily prize drops. Register today. ESPN.com/CFP All Access. Semifinals are tomorrow. British Brooks, big smile from Gastonia, North Carolina, just north of Charlotte. We've told his story, a walk-on, a team leader. A few games ago, he was running the ball real well for the first time in his career, and the coaches said, hey, do you want to come off of special teams? And he says, no, that's my baby. Two-time special teams captain. Let's see who South Carolina brings out at quarterback. We've seen Noland. We've seen more of Joyner. Joyner coming out to begin this series for the Gamecocks. They've been creative offensively. That's what they've needed to do today. Again, limited at the quarterback position. Your top rusher down the stretch has opted out. It's worked.
Give them a lot to think about on defense. For Jeremiah Gimmel and that linebacker group, they got to put their eyes in different spots.
Kevin Harris gets the call. Broken tackle. Change of direction. And he picks up 3.
And Anish, for South Carolina, first down has been the difference. We know some of that aided by big plays. But if you look at their loss against Texas A&M, ugly game for them, 5 yards on 11 first down plays through 3 quarters. Fast forward against Florida, 29 snaps on first down for 256 of their 459 yards. They're averaging 8.5 a clip on first down today.
High throw brought in by Amarian Brown, the Georgia Tech transfer. He came to South Carolina with a reputation as a big play receiver. We have not seen that yet. Longest catch with the Gamecocks, just 12 yards. And now it's 3rd down, and this Tar Heel defense desperately needs a stop. Zeb Noland back into the game.
Boy, if there's anyone you trust coming in that 3rd down relief mode, it's the guy who came off the bench as a GA for you.
He'll go back to being a GA next season. Brown in motion. South Carolina brings pressure. Did Leggett hold on? He did. He made the catch right at the sticks. 8th catch of the season for Xavier Leggett. And it's a first down.
And watch his feet right here at the end of the play. Possession, that right foot inbounds before the left taps out. They're getting up to the line now, not giving replay any time.
Going quickly, Kevin Harris for a couple.
That's the GA at work right there. You saw him immediately waving them up, saying, let's not give the replay booth a chance to think about this. You'll take a minimal gain on first down to keep that first down.
He's been in the film room. You said it, the coaches said it, a coach on the field.
We can say it without it being a lazy cliche today either. It's a beautiful thing.
The bowl game that has something for everybody. Joyner's back in there. And Harris stuffed after a short gain. It'll bring up 3rd down. Gamecocks have only had 2 3rd downs so far. They're 1 for 2. 19 plays, Mike. 244 yards, and the QB shuffle continues. Joyner out. He'll tag Noland in.
And I'd imagine we'll see a similar thought process here. Get some motion so your quarterback understands, all right, do I have man or zone coverage? And then go to targeting your best player, who's been Jaheim Bell. But we know Josh Vann, been super productive for them. Their leading wide receiver all season at the bottom of this formation, singled up.
Van has been battling a hamstring injury. McDowell, the running back, split wide. And Noland taken down in the backfield. Tamon Fox, 3rd all-time in sacks at North Carolina. And earlier this season, he passed Lawrence Taylor on the Tar Heels all-time sack list.
And you see all the guys up at the line of scrimmage, Anish. This is a simulated pressure, right? You show all these bodies so the offensive line has to account for them, and then you end up rushing 4 and getting a free hitter because now we've had to account for everyone. The offensive line along that line of scrimmage, a great free hitter from the 2nd level.
He's now 1 sack away from tying to Julius Peppers for 2nd all-time. That's dropping names.
Decent.
Short punt by Kroger. It takes a South Carolina bounce, and it dies right at the 26-yard line.
This Tar Heels defense fired up. We heard it was down on the sideline. Back in action.
The Duke's Mayo Bowl is brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise, the only mayo with twang. And Toyota. Let's go places.
Well, in the spirit of this bowl game and in the spirit of my partner, Mike Golick Jr., Mike, you came up with ideas, unconventional foods that work with mayonnaise. We're starting with what?
Cream-filled cookies here.
You first.
Let's take a dip. It's a really interesting blend of flavors. Thumbs up for me. Oh, Anish. We're going to need someone up here to call this next drive. He's not doing well. I've seen that face.
I'm working on it. Ty Chandler to the outside. Still have this Oreo cookie in my mouth. I will say the aftertaste, actually not bad.
I'm telling you.
You're 1 for 1. You know what? Initially, I was scared. You're 1 for 1.
You just got to let the mayo wash over you, Anish. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and dip everything in mayonnaise.
You've got how many more of these throughout the broadcast?
We got 2 more good ones planned for you guys here in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Stay tuned.
Howell looking for Josh Downs, who adjusts and makes the catch. 1 catch away now from becoming just the 4th player in ACC history with 100 catches in a season.
Look at him track this ball over his shoulder. We've all tried to do this out at recess, out in a Thanksgiving football game here. He just did it in a bowl game. You get a slot fade, and now North Carolina ready to capitalize.
I was not ready for that so soon after Oreos and mayonnaise. Howell is brought down by Zach Pickens right at the line of scrimmage. Taylor?
When you watch Sam Howell and Josh Downs, it's like there's a sixth sense between the two. I asked Josh about that this week, and he said Sam has had a huge influence on him. He's really allowed him to see the game from a quarterback's perspective, and he feels like that's what's made the difference when they're out there on the field, because he feels like he knows exactly what Sam's going to do with the football.
Now, those two have been in sync all season. Downs has had statistically the best season of any receiver in Carolina history. Antoine Green and UNC in the red zone.
Green, a few big catches today. We know he was short on the first down, but shielding the defender with his body. Another big play in the passing game. Sam Howell, loving him early and often today.
Downs in motion. Ty Chandler broke 1 tackle and then driven back. Jabari Ellis in the middle of that South Carolina defense. Super senior, a captain. He had, as you like to say, thick 6 against Florida. Fumble recovery for a touchdown.
The way the Lord intended, Anish. Large athletes doing outstanding things on the field of play. Could use some of that down here. I'm not saying.
And how do we spell thick?
That's 2 C's.
2 C's, right.
2 C's, my friend.
Howell dancing around and engulfed. Back at the 25, it's Pickens. The Gamecocks, without their best pass rusher, Kingsley Enagbare, who opted out, they've been able to get to the quarterback today. And for Carolina, North Carolina, that offensive line, that continues to be an issue like it's been most of the season.
We talked about the sack issues there, and that's just on the back end. The window shrinking down here. That's a coverage sack. Pickens had time to drive and deposit that left guard into his lap.
North Carolina needs the 4-yard line for a first down. Howell's got time, moving the pocket. Rifles one downfield off the hands of Downs.
And who else but Jalen Foster showing up really on the back end of that defense for South Carolina. He's been the difference maker. Once they moved him out to the field where now he's got clear eyes on everything in the back end, it's led to a tie for the NCAA lead at 5 interceptions, close to another.
Foster began his career at Gardner-Webb, walked on to South Carolina, worked his way up from scout team to starter to this year, All-American. Grayson Atkins has made 12 straight field goals. Make it 13 in a row as he's good from 40. A one-score game in Charlotte. Anish Shroff, Mike Golick Jr., Taylor McGregor, Duke's Mayo Bowl. We remind you, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, the one that almost didn't happen, Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, Wake Forest and Rutgers, the Scarlet Knights stepping in for Texas A&M. We get to see Sam Hartman. It's been the year of the quarterback in the ACC. Malik Cunningham, Sam Howell, Brennan Armstrong, Sam Hartman, another one of the top-tier QBs in that league. Can't forget Kenny Pickett, who was a Heisman finalist.
I'd say, unfortunately, we won't get to see Kenny Pickett today, but NFL scouts getting ready to sink their teeth into what was an incredible year for him.
South Carolina, it has been a quarterback derby all season. They've gone through 3 starters. Dakereon Joyner technically got the start today, so that's 4 starting quarterbacks. Spencer Rattler coming next season, along with a couple of talented freshmen in the recruiting class.
2 the magic number, both 2 for 2 right now. All 3 of South Carolina starters at quarterback this season, 2-2.
And there is Joyner, Wildcat run, a gain of 3. Now the good sign for South Carolina, 92, now 95 rushing yards in this first half. When they run for 99 plus this season, they're 6-1.
And for North Carolina, they've got a business decision to make now. Because South Carolina went deep early, there's some doubt in there. When we talked to Jay Bateman, their D coordinator, he said when we commit numbers into the box, when we get an extra defender down there, we've been pretty good at stopping the run. Now you got to worry about big play Joyner in the backfield throwing over the top of you.
Normally you would say Joyner's in, it's quarterback run. Noland is in. You can tee off on him, but they've mixed it up. Juju McDowell, the true freshman, moves the sticks for South Carolina. Now McDowell's got some wiggle, that scat back. He's come in on 3rd downs quite a bit.
SEC coaches, all freshman team.
Yep.
A lot of variety in that backfield as we see Zeb Noland now returning into the huddle.
The Colonel. Give this to Harris. And Harris B-buttons his way and then stampeding his way into UNC territory. Finally brought down by Biggers, the safety. It looked initially like there was some miscommunication on the handoff.
They did. They got it worked out in the backfield. And you see the big boys going through. Look at number 71, Eric Douglas. Downfield, latching on, finishing. They're setting the physical tone up front.
This looks like the Kevin Harris we saw last year. And Marcus Satterfield said, I don't know how he's going to play. We think he's healthy. We think he's better, but you never know until you get into the game situation. He looks like the player who led the conference in rushing a season ago. And they'll feed him once more. Coming up on the Smile Direct Club halftime report, Kevin Nagandi, David Pollack, Booger McFarland in studio as Michigan's D up to the challenge against Georgia. How to slow Alabama's offense. No Mechie, and since he's got the cornerbacks, and Bob Stoops back on the sideline. Alamo Bowl win for the Sooners against Oregon last night.
A revenge game win against the Ducks for Bob Stoops after that onside kick fiasco from the early 2000s.
What was that, 2006, I believe. Joyner rolling out. Sideline throw. And that's a catch by Brown for a first down.
The ruling on the field is a completed pass, first down.
It's really important, Anish, that we're seeing this consistent poised offense from South Carolina, because early in the game, a lot of teams, you'll script that first 10, 15 plays. You've got your shots dialed up. But once you get out to that lead and North Carolina battles back, how you respond, to me, says a lot more about what we're going to see from this offense today.
Gamecock quarterback's a perfect 6 of 6. 3 tight ends, including Nick Muse. And it's a run play. Stiff arm. McDowell stays in bounds. Touchdown! It's been a big play fiesta here. 35 yards on that touchdown run to go along with 3 other touchdowns in this game of 60+.
So you see 3 tight ends on the field. Your job as the line is to get your running back matched up with one guy. That was Giovanni Biggers. McDowell's able to beat him there. We always said in the run scheme, the running back's got to block one guy on his own. An outstanding job of getting big to make that one-on-one matchup more pronounced in the hole.
And a whistle before the PAT.
Illegal substitution, defense, 12 men on the field. Penalize half the distance to the goal, tractor point.
And I'm sure South Carolina thinking about that swinging gate with the penalty on this one. We've seen you line up in those oddball formations that we've seen, Anish, to try and get the defense to line up, see if you can get someone out of place. Going to opt for the field goal still.
High snap, and the kick is good. So many times a bowl game can be a springboard to next season. If you're a South Carolina fan, you got to be feeling good. The true freshman Juju McDowell from 35 out. North Carolina's offense has been better the last 2 drives. And with South Carolina receiving to begin the 3rd quarter, down 2 scores, this is a critical drive with 2:27 to go.
Great opportunity, veteran quarterback, 2-minute drill with all the timeouts remaining. Got to get this offense up and humming through the air to match South Carolina's start.
Jeter, a touchback for South Carolina. This North Carolina offense came into the game as the #1 rushing offense in the ACC. 81 on the ground, 80 through the air. Sam Howell, 4 of 8. Josh Downs has the 134-yard catch, but otherwise one of the top receivers in the ACC has been quiet so far.
And we remember last year for North Carolina, all the weapons, right? Daz Newsome, De'Ami Brown. It's been a one-man show this year, and it's been a great show. But so far, South Carolina's done a great job taking him away.
You saw Phil Longo, the offensive coordinator, a moment ago. Over the middle, that's a name to remember. Bryson Nesbitt, a true freshman who they feel is a future first-round pick. His dad, Jamar, was a 3-time All-SEC offensive lineman at South Carolina and played in the NFL as well. Howell looking for running room. Not much there, and he's taken down. It's Jordan Birch.
See Howell, miscommunication with his offensive line up front on that play. And you've still got plenty of time to compose yourself outside of 2 minutes.
UNC has all 3 timeouts, a loss of 4 on that play. Howell fits it in there to Nesbitt. I was at practice a couple of days ago. Nesbitt got a lot of reps. They line him up at wide receiver, at tight end, in the slot. Again, they think he's going to be special. He's a relative newcomer to football despite the bloodlines, was a basketball player, didn't really start taking football seriously until his junior year of high school.
You see the measurables and 2-minute drill, Anish, it kind of slows down the thinking. You're not trying to process as much. It's go fast and react.
6'6" frame for Nesbitt. He's in the slot. Downfield for Green. And he brought it in. A catch for Antoine Green with Marcellus Dial draped all over him.
A back shoulder ball for the ages. Let's see if he keeps his feet in bounds. Extension,
That's
foot
a catch.
down. What an unbelievable. Tell the folks at Sports Center to get ready.
There's an injured Gamecock. It's Darius Rush. He's one of the cornerbacks in South Carolina today, playing without its top corner already in Cam Smith.
Looks like they're trying to help him buff out a cramp over there. Hopefully it won't be anything too serious, but how about the first half from Antoine Green?
We'll be back in 10 seconds after a message from Ally.
However you fan, with face paint, victory chants, or bizarre superstition, for everything we do, we're all better off with an Ally. Back to you.
Antoine Green this season has been the big play guy, and North Carolina has needed that. Bo Corrales has been out. You look at Green's 2 100-yard games. He only had 3 catches in each of those games.
10th nationally, coming in averaging 20 yards a reception. And it's been high degree of difficulty today, all day for him. Such a great job using 6'2", 205-pound frame.
Isaiah Norris comes in for Darius Rush, and let's see if they pick on him. In the flat, the catch is made by Chandler, but he goes down after a short pickup. So number 27 for South Carolina, Isaiah Norris. He may be targeted here, especially as Carolina gets close to the red zone. Press coverage with Norris and Justin Olsen, top of your screen. Nesbitt, the slot receiver. Design quarterback run. Howell bouncing to the outside. And let's see where they mark him out. Close to the marker, about a yard shy, 3rd and 1. The clock stops with 52 seconds. And North Carolina still has all of its timeouts.
Great position right now. Great job managing the clock coming off the big plays for North Carolina. This is where that veteran presence of Sam Howell, the heart's not beating too fast. And so he understands. They love to get him involved in the quarterback run game down in this area. Could see some read option, try and get him on the perimeter.
Chandler. He didn't get there. And a timeout with 46 seconds.
North Carolina calls their first timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
Mac Brown still has 2 timeouts left.
Operator, please.
Tomorrow, 2 of the 5 bowl games for you on the ESPN networks. Penn State and Sean Clifford taking on number 21 Arkansas. That's the Outback Bowl on ESPN2. And then the Verbo Citrus Bowl, Iowa and Kentucky. Kentucky quarterback Will Levis, in the spirit of our bowl game earlier this season, drank coffee with not even a dash, I mean a pour of mayonnaise.
Our very own Alyssa Lang at the SEC Network replicated that. Her and Andrea Carter on Out of Pocket. And I think the results were about what you'd expect on that one, but a great valiant effort from both parties.
So here's a question. We did the Oreo cookie, which, again, initially I was not a fan. The aftertaste better. Is coffee and mayo on the agenda?
Have to stay tuned to find out after this big 4th down for the Tar Heels.
And a timeout now by Shane Beamer.
Calls their first timeout of the half.
Want to get a good look at what the offense is bringing out formation-wise. And they know if you scout the Tar Heels, the one thing that you'll see for this team formation-wise, they're not going to blow you away between the 20s, but when they get down short yardage, especially in the red zone, all of a sudden, that's where Phil Longo starts to pull out some of the bigger personnel groups, get 2 or 3 tight ends in there, get an extra offensive lineman on the field, and try and give the defense a little more oomph to deal with. Love the call, though. Listen, you're down here, you got plenty of timeouts, and you've seen the way this game is going. You've got to get 7 on the board. 3's not going to cut it.
British Brooks is the running back. 3 tight ends into the game. Howell under center. And movement on that North Carolina offensive line.
Ball start. Offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
Jordan Tucker, and now 4th and short becomes 4th and 5.
And now you're going to see the kicking unit come out here. And Anish, we talk about Beamer ball, all the things that are different for South Carolina. The other side for North Carolina, coming into this game 116th in the country in penalties accepted per game at just over 7.5. That's the difference in these close games.
A 36-yarder by Atkins, who has made 13 straight field goals. Make it 14 in a row for Atkins. It remains a 2-score game with 44 seconds to go in this first half. College football playoff semifinals tomorrow. We see the Heisman winner Bryce Young and #1 Alabama take on #4 Cincinnati in the Cotton Bowl. Then Michigan, Georgia in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Michigan, Georgia. How do you see that one? Georgia seemed to be the overwhelming favorite to win this whole thing until they got railroaded by Bama in the SEC championship.
The difference for Bama was the offensive line in that game. And for Michigan, their offensive line, the Joe Moore Award winners for the best offensive line unit in football, going to have to put forth a similar effort against Jordan Davis and that fierce Georgia front, who is still stout against the run, struggled against the pass that day.
Jonathan Kim, booming leg, sends it away. And let's see what South Carolina does. 44 seconds, 2 timeouts. You've got a 12-point lead. And this is an offense which at times has struggled with turnovers. Do you play this safe, take the knee, get the ball to begin the third?
You're going to hand the ball off first, see if you pop one here and can maybe use one of those timeouts and get set up. If not, getting the ball to start in the second half. No need to rush this.
Impressive play calling and impressive offensive performance by South Carolina in this first half. 310 yards. Out of the double tight end set. Harris using the stiff arm. And he stayed in bounds. Clock will continue to run. And South Carolina in no rush. The SEC looking for its first win of the bowl season. 0-4. The ACC had lost 13 straight bowl games up until Clemson's win against Iowa State last night. So far, SEC plus 12 on the ACC. 25-13 South Carolina as we go to halftime. Shane Beamer maybe 30 minutes away from a Mayo bath. That sounds like something you'd want to try, right, Kevin?
Welcome back to Capital One Bowl Mania.
It's the Duke's Mayo Bowl, all a part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Clash of Carolinas, South on top of North, 25-13 as we get ready for the second half here in Charlotte. Are we going to eat anything right now or no?
I think we're saving it for later on right now, but the action's been hot on the field too.
Yeah, we've seen big plays galore. We expected big plays from North Carolina. That's been their MO all season, but it's been South Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina came into this game leading the ACC with 7 plays of 60-plus yards. South Carolina's got them beat 2-1 in that category today. It's been emblematic of the way the South Carolina offense wanted to start today. We've seen DK Joyner unleash that big play to Jaheim Bell, and from there, that was the tempo that North Carolina had to adjust to all in the first half.
First half stats brought to you by PlayStation. What jumps out to you, Mike?
Certainly the rushing total for South Carolina, but then you look at the passing. Every drive in the first half for South Carolina saw both Zeb Noland and DK Joyner in at quarterback going up and trying to equal, or in this case, better the production from the future potential first rounder in Sam Howell.
A look at Mack Brown and Shane Beamer. Winning coach today gets 4.5 gallons of mayonnaise dumped on their noggin.
The stakes have never been higher.
Down to Taylor McGregor.
Mack Brown said he's been proud of his team all year because they've never quit and they've always come back. So he said that was the challenge, them coming right out of the half. And he said a lot of busted coverages defensively, offensively. They haven't been on the same page like we mentioned. And so it's all about communication. And then Shane Beamer saying they're controlling the line of scrimmage offensively. That has to continue. And we know South Carolina is thin in the secondary, so they want to keep those guys fresh.
Did you see Taylor threw on the hat? Had the hoodie on. Somebody is preparing for endgame already.
If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail, Anish.
DK Joyner on first down to Juju McDowell. As you said, South Carolina has used both quarterbacks today. Luke Doty, who they anticipated was going to be the starter this season, out for the year. Jason Brown, who started down the stretch, entered the transfer portal shortly after Spencer Rattler announced he'd be coming from Oklahoma to South Carolina. So it's been Noland and then Joyner, who's played wide out this season. He's been their Wildcat guy, a converted quarterback. So it's been those two. And it's been a re-energized run game in the absence of Zaquandre White. That was South Carolina's top rusher down the stretch this year. And Kevin Harris gets a little closer, might have it. Going to be a little shy, 3rd and 1.
You mentioned it. We know there's been deception at quarterback here. All right, what do we expect from DK Joyner? Is he going to run or pass now that you said that? But up front, it has been a steady diet of inside zones. Duo, big, bodied, right straight ahead runs.
What's the adjustment then for UNC?
You got to commit more bodies to the box and then hope your back end with Storm Duck and some of those mature secondary players can make it happen.
Jaheim Bell lined up in the backfield. And they feed Harris, the up back, who gets enough.
Everything happens with a purpose in this offense there. You saw the motion. Nick Muse at tight end does such a great job as a blocker for them. And so you've got all the eyes on Jaheim Bell after the first half. What do? Pop an easy one to Harris lined up as your fullback.
Zeb Noland out. DK Joyner back in at quarterback.
This is where you got to watch out because they've now gone low and slow up front, runs and short passes. They're going to throw over the top again here soon.
The Gamecocks have completed all 6 passes. Joyner chased. And completes near sideline. It's E.J. Jenkins, who came to South Carolina this year from FCS St. Francis, along with Jason Brown, who was his quarterback, not just in high school, but also at St. Francis, and then for part of this season at South Carolina.
Yeah, they've been playing football together since the 6th grade, so you had all that continuity. And Jenkins, another big body, 6'7", 245. He was listed as a tight end earlier in the season. Really versatile pieces for them.
So Zeb Noland lined up at receiver, bottom of your screen. Joyner will take the snap out of the pistol. Joyner thought about the screen to McDowell. He'll run, got a good block from Muse, and that springs him for a first down. You got to give a lot of credit to Marcus Satterfield and this offensive staff for South Carolina for the game plan and play calling today.
And for the execution. Greg Atkins, their offensive line coach, has done an outstanding job. We mentioned 6 different offensive line combinations this year. Anish, that's a position where you need continuity for all the communication, especially with as many double teams as they use. All the mechanics of that offense, they've managed to put that together with less than ideal circumstances all year, paying off today.
Joyner off play action. In the flat, he's got Amarian Brown. And Brown inside the 30-yard line, a gain of 26, his longest play as a South Carolina Gamecock.
The big plays we mentioned, it's been the difference all game. But you see him lined up in sort of that flood position, almost where you'd have a tight end. Move the pocket throws have been a nightmare for North Carolina's defense all year. And with a mobile quarterback back there, you can really take advantage of that matchup.
McDowell motions out. Joyner downfield, has a receiver wide open. It's Brown. To the 5-yard line, 1st and goal, South Carolina. Amarian Brown only had 7 catches all season entering the game for today.
You saw Tony Grimes go with Josh Vann, who's been their best receiver all year, been their most productive receiver, and you use their eyes against them. You had McDowell coming out of the backfield, occupy the flat, occupy the deep middle, find a great hole near the sideline.
Brown has more receiving yards today than he did all season. Noland under center. Harris up the gut. Stretching. 2nd and goal.
It's been really fun to watch number 62, Tyshawn Wanamaker at right tackle. Came in and started the last 6 games of the season after Dylan Wanham went down. He was an SEC Coaches Freshman All-American, really powerful kid. You're going to watch him explode off the ball, and as he refines his technique, he's going to be a fun player to watch grow.
There are some pieces here for South Carolina as you start the forecast ahead. Harris at fullback, McDowell behind him in the eye. Harris up the middle, barges in.
Anish, it's not just big plays, it's not gadget stuff. This is consistent, well-executed offense from South Carolina. Again, DeCarrion Joyner's been great downfield passing this game, and it sets them up for Kevin Harris and that offensive line to go to work yet again down in the low red zone.
Parker White earlier today became the all-time scoring leader at South Carolina. It's 32-13, a 3-score game in favor of the Gamecocks. Bowl season rolls on the ESPN networks tonight. It's Pitt and Michigan State Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. You get to see Biletnikoff winner Jordan Addison for the 12th rank Pitt Panthers. That was a team North Carolina faced this year. You look at the 6-6 record for UNC. Yes, a disappointment given the expectations. Second half of the season, though, they let something get away. They had a chance against Pitt, went to overtime, came back. NC State, a game they should have won, and they did beat Wake Forest, who was undefeated heading into that game.
We've seen them put up points with the best of them. In a shootout with Notre Dame, plenty of action here. This is the offense we've got to see come to life for North Carolina now.
And this could be Sam Howell's final half as a Tar Heel. The most decorated quarterback in school history, the best quarterback in school history. UNC's all-time leader in total offense, passing yards, total touchdowns, passing touchdowns. The list goes on much deeper than that.
The big shocker today, -4 rushing yards on the day so far for a guy who came in their second leading rusher at over 800.
On first down, Howell under pressure. He's been under duress most of the game. He doesn't slide either and picks up 7.
And I think that's going to have to be the key for the second half. If you're South Carolina, you've got to stay aggressive. The tendency can be start to play back, keep this in front of you. If you do that, it should be a steady diet of Sam Howell. They love running the draw with him. We see him get on the edge with zone read. He's going to have to be the spark plug for this team.
As a true freshman, 38 touchdown passes, an FBS record for a true freshman. Mel Kiper's 5th-rated quarterback for the upcoming draft. Howell has Downs, who makes the catch, and that is career reception number 100 for Josh Downs, just the 4th player in ACC history to hit the century mark. Not career reception number 100, excuse me, single season reception number 100, only been done by 3 other players in ACC history.
And came on a play where Sam Howell was getting ready to run draw. He saw his outlet there, and just 2 guys, 2 veterans on the same page.
Off play action. Howell wants Olsen downfield, incomplete. Down to Taylor.
Josh Downs told me 100 receptions was never really a goal of his, but as he got that here today, he said, what a good benchmark for me now to build upon. There's a lot of excitement around this offense, what it will be with him at the focal point.
Well, you look at what's ahead. If he has a big second half, he's got a chance to get to Jamison Crowder. 1 away from tying Sammy Watkins for 3rd.
And he's going to have to if they're going to have a chance to get back in this game. We talked about that connection on the play that took him over the century mark. It's the 2 players that are going to have to lead you to the promised land, to the Mayo.
His strength, change of direction, and yards after catch. Against a 4-man rush, Downs in the slot. There he is, changing directions. Yards after catch on cue.
And Phil Longo getting creative to find ways to get him the football. Lined him up in the backfield as a running back, so now you get a favorable matchup coming out against a linebacker. And now you turn it into what he's so great, making it punt return yards. That's why they love him in the screen game.
Sam Howell now north of 3,000 yards passing for the season. Howell completes. It's Stephen Gosnell, just his 2nd catch of the season, 2nd catch of his career.
Sam Howell starting to look a little more comfortable. It's the point guard, ball coming out quick, being decisive. This is when North Carolina's at their best.
Howell today 11 out of 16, 168. Has yet to throw a touchdown pass. Low snap. Comes back to Howell. Downfield. Wide open. Garrett Walston. And he'll cruise in for 6. We had just said Sam Howell had yet to throw a TD pass, which he had done in every game of his career until today. Well, now he gets one today. That's 37 in a row.
An incredible play design here. You see number 84, Garrett Walston at tight end, leaks out with all that backfield action. South Carolina loses him in the shuffle, and now the Tar Heels are going to try and go for 2 here.
Now, if they come back with a split back formation, looking at the personnel, they were practicing a play down here where, Mike, let's just say you would be happy, went to a big guy. Now Howell comes under center. Downs in motion. Change of direction. Chandler is in for the 2-point conversion. 32-21. Still plenty of time left to play in Uptown Charlotte and Bank of America Stadium. Trickeration, and Walston has a 2nd receiving touchdown of the year.
32-21 Gamecocks after the trickeration. Watch Garrett Wilson, number 84 at tight end here for North Carolina. He's going to fake the block up on the safety as we get the reverse pass action in the backfield. Gives him that fake, goes right past him as everyone buys up on the run fake. And for Sam Howell, 37 straight games with a touchdown pass. I don't know if you're going to find many easier than that, Anish.
Sometimes you show him the mustard, but it's really the mayonnaise.
Delicious. Chef's kiss.
You've got something planned for us in this quarter, don't you?
We're not done eating, folks. Hungry in the booth today. We brought snacks.
Just warning those folks who may not have had their lunch or finished their lunch just yet.
Warn them to add mayo to it.
7:24 to go, 3rd quarter. 1st and 10. I was about to say 2nd and 9, but 1st and 10.
South Carolina, great chance to answer here now. They had a dominant drive to start this half. Got to keep their foot down on the gas. And you'd have to imagine who else are we going to see under center but Takarian Joyner, who started nearly every drive of the game for South Carolina.
Kevin Harris, the running back, 15 for 71 on the ground and a touchdown. One of his better games of the season. Harris gashes that defense up the middle all the way to the 33, a gain of 8. Cam Kelly made the stop. Mack Brown telling us he didn't really want to have too many conversations one-on-one with Cam Kelly, who had a rough finish to the regular season. Blown coverage, gave up the 2 late touchdowns against NC State. A bad angle led to another NC State touchdown in that game.
He's been so productive for you, 4 interceptions on the season. Everyone can have a bad couple of minutes, a bad 2 minutes in football. You play long enough, it's bound to happen. The response is what they need to see now.
Noland in at quarterback on 2nd down. And content to run it with Harris, and South Carolina has now figured it out. UNC can't stop the run.
No, and UNC's got 7-8 guys committed down near the line of scrimmage. The difficult part of all this now for the defense and why South Carolina is so adept here is because a lot of their runs want to hit up in the middle, want to hit in the A-gaps, where it's hardest for those outside defenders to impact.
We see Joyner come in for Noland. What does that do for a defense when it is a constant shuffling of QBs?
It makes you have to over-communicate in these spots, which means you're doing more thinking than going out and just cutting it loose and playing fast.
Harris right up the middle again to the 40, a gain of 3. Harris came into this season with a 6.4 career rushing average. That was tops in school history. Led the SEC in rushing yards last year, had 5 100-yard games, including a pair of 200-yard games. And remember, last year that was a conference schedule entirely. He's been banged up really from the beginning of the year. Looks pretty healthy today. In the flat, Jaheim Bell forced out by Gray. 3rd down coming up, and South Carolina has not thrown it much, but when they have, it's been relatively successful. 10 for 10 passing.
Everything on time and on schedule, because now you get to 3rd and a long 3, short 4. Whole playbook at your disposal, especially with another big personnel group out there. 17, Xavier Legette can get down there and act like a tight end for you at times.
The Gamecocks have averaged 10 yards a play. They need 4. The look to Harris, pinballs off 1, and torpedoes ahead for the 1st down.
And this is all about the run fits, Anish. Look at Cameron Kelly, we just talked about. Over pursues on that run fit, gets beat in the hole, and Kevin Harris able to get those extra yards. You had the guys there, got to be able to keep his leverage and make the play.
How demoralizing is that for a defense when, listen, it's some variation of the same play. Harris up the middle on this drive, and you can't stop it.
You hear coaches and defensive players talk about this all the time. That's a pride issue. Running it straight at those guys, that unit, that hits right at the core of every football player.
So why not again?
And what they're doing now, Anish, spreading out these formations. You've got Takarian Joyner in the shotgun now, giving a lot of these read option looks. All up the middle, all up the middle. As soon as someone over pursues on that backside, if your eye discipline's bad for a second, he's out the gate.
So Zeb Noland comes in, and for you, Mike, what's the tell in this game for South Carolina when they make that quarterback switch to Noland?
They've really done a good job of making it harder to. In the first half, a lot of him was bailouts on 3rd down, mixing it up here on 2nd and long.
Noland pumps, and that's the first incompletion for South Carolina today. E.J. Jenkins the target, and it sets up 3rd down.
And this is really the first bit of 2nd half adversity they're going to overcome. And you see the playmakers come on the field now. Josh Vann, their best wide receiver. Jaheim Bell, who's been their big play guy all 1st half.
Vann does not have a catch today. 6 for South Carolina.
be a great spot to use all the attention paid to Jaheim Bell to get Josh Vann breaking towards the middle of the field.
Nick Muse, the tight end, motions to the slot. Four-man rush. Someone lost their helmet. Here's Jaheim Bell. Can he get there? He does. A first down for South Carolina. And Jaheim Bell today has broken his own school record for most receiving yards in a game by a tight end. He had 136 earlier this year against Vanderbilt, 147 today on just 4 catches.
Just such a great job once he gets the ball in his hands. They turn that into basically a screen for him coming from the backside. That playmaking ability on display. And you mentioned, so deflating to that North Carolina defense.
Josh Vann has not announced if he's coming back to school. Became a father recently. If he does, along with Bell and Austin Stogner, the Oklahoma transfer, with Spencer Rattler at quarterback. That looks like a pretty good offense. That play went nowhere. Cedric Gray, leading tackler for UNC. Charlotte kid blew it up.
17 though, Chris Collins on the backside staying home, shut off that rollout. Great discipline on the backside for North Carolina. You see 17 in blue, stopping his feet, giving his buddies time to corral yet another passer for South Carolina.
It was Omega Blake who had the ball in his hands. So now second and Weddington. And a flag.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
South Carolina has not had a lot of this, getting far behind the sticks. How does that change what they want to do offensively?
Oh, it's going to limit the play calling. We talked the passing game, even though there's been deep shots there, it's not overly complex. It's set up, it's built up so you can get those play action shots. Now you're thinking more drop back passing, and here I think spread them out. Alert for draw from DK Joyner in the backfield.
There it is. Broke the first tackle from Vohasek and gets across midfield. Still third and long. Got 8 back on the play.
Third and long, but I think you can play with 2 downs here, right? It doesn't need to be too deep. If you get this thing close enough, and I'm South Carolina, I want to keep my foot on the gas.
And you also have a kicker in Parker White who's got a strong leg. He's hit from as long as 54. Noland at quarterback. Downfield, and that ball looked like it was tipped. Trey Morrison, honorable mention All-ACC last year, 40-plus career starts.
Trying to get that ball to Jenkins coming over the middle, and just an unbelievable individual effort. And that's the big moment that North Carolina needed. Now get the ball back to your offense. Chance to get this to 1 score.
A big stop there for the UNC defense. South Carolina, though, has chewed up a lot of clock in this third quarter. Started the quarter with a 5-minute drive. This one a 6-minute drive, even though it only went 28 total yards, 11 plays. Play clock runs to 0.
Shane Beamer frustrated on the sideline.
Delayed game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Is that to give Kroger just a little more room?
I was going to say, I thought that was almost intentional by them here. Let your punter really lay into this thing and try and pin North Carolina deep. Shane
Josh Downs averages almost 10 yards a punt return, waits at about his 10-yard line. Fair catch is made at the 12. 1:13 to go in the third. When we come back, Mike Golick Jr. has another mayonnaise surprise for all of us. You're watching the Duke's Mayo Bowl, a part of Capital One Bowl Mania. And Ishraf, Mike Golick Jr., Taylor McGregor. All right, I'll go first this time. What are we eating?
Yeah, again, more items you wouldn't think to eat with mayonnaise. We got peanut butter and jelly sandwiches this time. Anish?
Okay, not bad. T-Mac, what do you think?
It's actually pretty good.
You went for the second dunk?
No.
Oh.
Actually, not bad.
I'm telling you, we're on to something here.
First and 10, UNC. Sam Howell using his feet. Took a big hit, picks up the first down at the 25-yard line. Got that sandwich down?
I want to eat the rest of it, but we should probably talk about Sam Howell in this draw game. Now, we mentioned his legs are going to have to be the difference. They had to replace so much production last year. Javonte Williams and Michael Carter, such great backs for them. That sure, Ty Chandler was awesome, their grad transfer, but Sam Howell knew he had to step up. He has all year. Going to continue today.
There's Ty Chandler, a Tennessee transfer who is facing South Carolina for the 5th time in his career.
Sure, he was very helpful during bowl preparation here. An enemy that he knows very well, and a guy just incredibly productive. All AC second team, 3rd in the ACC in rush yards per game. Done a great job as a receiver out of the backfield too, 14 catches.
Final seconds tick down in this third quarter. As the folks who run this bowl like to say, one jar left to open. The boys from Columbia up 11. We're not done having fun. We've got the TransPerfect Music City Bowl following us, Tennessee and Purdue, Wisconsin, Arizona State, SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. North Carolina down 2 scores as we begin the fourth quarter. Sam Howell throwing downfield, and it's behind Morales, the tight end. He wanted a flag, no penalty marker.
Letting him be physical.
Well, there is a penalty marker.
Offense, number 69. Head-on penalty in the spot. Correction, the penalty is declined. 3rd down.
South Carolina trusting its defense, and UNC has yet to convert a 3rd down.
The back end of this defense has done such a good job staying home. Tried to get them to bite on Josh Downs in the flat. Made a great play on the ball. South Carolina, I expect some pressure here. Try and make Sam Howell uncomfortable on 3rd down.
Downs is lined up in the backfield. And Howell wants quiet, not going to get it from the Gamecock faithful. And now a timeout.
What a great chess match from the South Carolina defense. Showed him a cover 0, no safety back there, all up at the line, making the veteran burn one.
We'll be back in 10 seconds after this message from Ally.
However you fan, with face paint, victory chants, or bizarre superstition, for everything we do, we're all better off with an ally. Back to you.
Big 3rd and 10 for North Carolina. Mack Brown in his 3rd season. Sam Howell, in all likelihood, probably playing his final game as a Tar Heel. Can he lead a comeback, or can this South Carolina team, which has fought and battled all season, a surprise entry into bowl season given what we saw last year?
And South Carolina likely going to check and back out of this now.
Pressure off the edge. Howell devoured. Safety blitz. It was R.J. Roderick who got in there first.
So before the timeout, you show everybody up at the line of scrimmage here. North Carolina comes with their check. So what does South Carolina do? Drop a couple of guys in the middle, some defensive linemen and linebackers out. So again, you set the protection for one all-out blitz. You end up getting a free rusher and a great sack.
Josh Vann waits at his own 40. Kiernan will punt from inside his own 5. Good punt by Kiernan. Vann retreating, bobbled it, and down he goes. Ben Kiernan flipping the field for UNC. 55-yard punt. The Progressive Bowl Challenge Cup is here at the Dukes Mayo Bowl and will be awarded to the conference that has the highest win percentage in the postseason. The American 3-0. Obviously got a big one tomorrow with Cincinnati and Alabama. SEC looking for that first bowl win of the season, 0-4. The ACC 1-2, and they've had 4 games featuring their teams canceled.
It's been a rough bowl season for a lot of folks on that front. Obviously, everyone's health and safety top of mind this time of year.
DK Joyner at quarterback. And Kevin Harris up across the 25 to the 26.
And Anish, if I'm South Carolina, you're not in 4-minute offense mode, but I want to wear them out on the ground. This is North Carolina sideline right now. Lots to get excited about, but off that last series, South Carolina has a great chance for some complimentary football here after its defense got that big 3rd down stop.
Second 100-yard game of the season for Harris. Went for 128 in the win against Florida. Joyner keeps it and surges ahead across the 30. A first down for South Carolina.
This tight end room has been special for them. We've talked about Jaheim Bell, but Nick Muse, Trayvon Kenyon, who's come along really well for them as a blocker. It gives you so many options. And we've talked about, Anish, presenting different backfield sets to confuse that North Carolina defense. When your tight ends can do that much, big skill can win you the day.
What this team looks like next year with some of the skill guys coming back and the addition of a Spencer Rattler, it's going to be fun to watch. Joyner has Jaheim Bell. He's been unstoppable today. 5 catches, close to 160 yards receiving. A career high in that department.
In North Carolina, you're going to have to pick something at this point. You haven't been able to stop the run all day, but when you commit numbers up, you've got one-on-one matchups that South Carolina has dominated till this point.
It's been balanced. 200 on the ground for South Carolina. 242 through the air. Joyner and Noland a combined 12 of 14 passing. Joyner's the QB. And they give us to Harris. Sheds 2 tacklers. Bounces to the outside. And another big run by Kevin Harris. Give him 38. And he's at a season high in rushing yards on the afternoon.
Straight up the middle. Almost looked like he got a face mask there. Just another great run right down the middle of this North Carolina defense.
Down to Taylor.
Body injury, tried to go. It was too painful, so I'm told he is likely out for the rest of the game.
That's huge. Mike, you mentioned communication being so critical for this defense. That's the guy.
Mack Brown said he's one of the 2 most impactful players on this team. A huge loss as your signal caller in the middle.
McDowell got away from Gray before he's taken down. Chris Collins with the tackle. There's Jeremiah Gimmel, 3rd team all-conference, 2nd on the team in tackles.
Dealt with so much in his career, was here for the 2-9 season in 2018, had sports hernia surgery that year, lost his grandmother, stuck around here to be such an important part of this program. a shame to see him end this game on the sideline.
3 tight ends. McDowell, the running back. Joyner keeps. Fights his way to the 15-yard line. 3rd down. If you're UNC and you can hold South Carolina to a field goal here, big victory. Still keeps it at a 2-score game.
I think you got to sell out here, bring some pressure on a run blitz. Cedric Gray, their other linebacker, number 33, is great downhill inserting as another guy. You've got to make a splash behind the line of scrimmage to deter South Carolina from thinking this is 4-down territory and a chance to shut the door.
Gamecocks looking to the sideline with the play clock winding down, and they'll use a timeout. We'll take 1, 2. 3rd and 5, South Carolina. College football semis tomorrow. This, though, the highest stakes bowl game outside of the college football playoff. Winning coach gets 4.5 gallons of mayonnaise dumped on him. 3rd and 5. Joyner on the keeper. Muse setting the edge. And a 1st down. Nick Muse, the tight end, with a critical block.
Marcus Satterfield, their offensive coordinator, said that guy's going to play 10 years in the NFL. He's going to be a great special teamer because he is detail-oriented and physical. He's the lead blocker the whole way for the quarterback. And flatbacks him on the perimeter, matched up against Storm Duck, and shows him what the turf feels like.
1st and goal, South Carolina. Muse will play in the East-West Shrine game. Brother Tanner, a safety at Clemson, was a 3rd-round pick last year. Kevin Harris on the cutback. Not much.
Again, for South Carolina, they're able to keep the personnel relatively consistent. See Xavier Leggett back on the field now. But you got big bodies, and they are letting the entirety of that play clock wind down, Anish.
They had a 5-minute and a 6-minute drive in the 3rd quarter. This drive has gone on for 5+ minutes. Harris hammerheads inside the 5, 3rd and goal. Mike, I know a field goal puts you up 14, but if you don't get it here, let's say you pick up another yard or 2. Do you go for it on 4th, saying, hey, that's a chance to win the game?
I think so, and especially if you get it down to 1 or 2 yards, Anish, because then if you don't make it, North Carolina's starting with the football inside their own 2-yard line. That's a low probability drive starter for you to get points out of in almost any locker room.
Well, look at you going analytics. Be careful now.
If we call them analytics, will it make you all feel better? Good Lord. It's probability, people.
Play action. Nolan floats it back in the end zone. Incomplete. I'm a fan of analytics. It makes teams go for it more on 4th down. That's fun. That's fun football.
It's my struggle with people as we see the kicking unit come out right now, and that makes sense. You didn't make up any yardage there. You wanted to take your one shot. But to your point, Anish, I never thought I'd have to explain to football people that more aggressive football is fun. Novel concept.
A 22-yarder for the reliable Parker White. And the chip shot is good. A 14-point lead for South Carolina. 7:44 away from a mayonnaise bath.
The Duke's Mayo Bowl is brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise, the only mayo with twang.
Frosted Flakes, Cheez-Its, French fries, slime. Every saga has a beginning when the bards and the poets sing about this game and what's going to happen in the aftermath. That's the context. That's the history. That's what got us here.
You look at non-traditional baths after the game and say, why? I dream of foods that we could dump out of those buckets and say, why not?
If you are a food company, start getting on some bowl sponsorships, huh?
I'm saying, the Dukes people understand. They understood the assignment coming into this. They're ready to get that winning letter grade.
They got some extra credit, too. Tomorrow, college football semifinals. All sorts of ways to watch the main telecast on ESPN. You want Georgia hometown radio, got the SEC network, same for Alabama. We have the All-22 Command Center, Skycast, hometown radio for every team. So many ways to do this.
The Skycast going to have a little bit of added flavor to it this year?
Yeah, I'll be on there with Kelly Stauffer tomorrow in Bristol.
One of the best ways to watch a game for my money. You get that high look over both lines of scrimmage. Great football.
Carolina, North Carolina, down 2 scores. There's Ty Chandler. Got about 4. He has been held in check today. 8 carries, 24 yards. Came into the game as the 3rd leading rusher in the ACC. Third and 1.
Down 14, 7 and change left. It doesn't have to be full 2 minutes, but it's got to be a sense of urgency in between plays right now. As you see Sam Howell going no huddle, getting them lined up.
Chandler out, British Brooks in. Brooks bullies his way for the first down. First 3rd down conversion of the game for UNC, and it comes with less than 7 minutes in regulation. And how about British Brooks, the last 3 games versus the first 39 of his career?
Been remarkable. He's shown up as a pass protector for them, really a guy who built himself up on special teams and now contributing to this offense.
Big role for him next year. Howell taken down by Damani Staley. Deuce Staley's son. And Damani stepped in big time this year when Sherrod Green, South Carolina's top linebacker, suffered a season-ending injury. He's been a stalwart in the middle of that defense.
Got matched up with the guard, number 73, Marcus McKeithen. Doesn't say a whole lot. Lets the action speak. 2nd and long for North Carolina.
4 sacks by South Carolina. Howell's pass tipped. Incomplete, wanted downs. And it's 3rd and long.
And I love what South Carolina's done on defense, Anish. 6 minutes left, you're up 2 scores. The tendency for some is to sit back. They're saying, let's get bodies up at the line of scrimmage and win this game rather than try and not lose it.
South Carolina showing pressure. Roderick, the safety, in the box. So is Foster. Howell's pass incomplete. Tried to thread the needle. And it's 4th down. A look to the sideline. Got to punt here, don't you?
Just too far away here to think about it. You've still got 6 minutes left, 2 timeouts. You're going to rely on your defense to have to basically force a 3 and out at this point. I don't know, with the way South Carolina's been running the football,
you may not get the ball back.
That'd be my worry here.
Van with the fair catch at the 23. 5:52 to go in regulation. How about this bowl lineup for New Year's Day? Number 9, Oklahoma State taking on Golick Jr.'s alma mater, Notre Dame. Utah and Ohio State in the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, presented by Capital One Venture X. And then we cap the day with Baylor and Ole Miss, a chance to see Matt Corral. We saw him early in the season, the Rebels quarterback, the best in the country by our estimation. Kevin Harris, he is dragging Tar Heels across the 45. A tour de force to close the season for the junior out of Georgia.
Counter action, hitting it up inside. And Kevin Harris has been dynamic for them. We wondered about his health. Don't wonder anymore.
166 on the ground on 25 carries. 520 yards of total offense for South Carolina. 278 on the ground. 6 shy of their season high in rushing, which was 284 in the Florida win. Joyner back to Harris. Down to Taylor.
We've seen South Carolina be quarterback by committee today, and Luke Doty, although he's never stepped foot on the field, has been a huge part of what they're doing. He's wearing a headset, communicating to everybody on the sideline, defense, offense, O-line, wide receivers. He'll talk to coaches, and then he'll go talk to guys individually. It's what you want to see out of your quarterback. Unfortunately, not being able to play today because of that left foot injury, but still a huge part of this team.
Yeah, he suffered that injury before the season started. It limited his ability to run, re-injured it in the Vandy game, needed surgery, and that knocked him out for the year. And it's been a revolving door at quarterback for South Carolina. And Mike, we're in an age where it's so hard to have quarterback depth, because if you have a good number 1 and you've got quality depth behind them, they don't stick around long. They want to go where they can play. As we get a timeout, South Carolina is going to have some pretty strong QB depth going into next year. Pay close attention to this. After the game, you got to switch to the ESPN app for the Capital One post game. The reason you've got to switch to the app, we've got another game following us. So we've told you all game there's going to be a post game mayonnaise bath for the winning coach. Right now that looks to be Shane Beamer. You've got to get to the ESPN app for that. More details after this play. Joyner rolls to his right. He's got a first down inside the 40. Taylor, you're going to be emceeing everything post-game. Tell our viewers how this is going to work.
It's going to be epic, for one. So we're going to do the trophy ceremony, and then immediately following that, I'm going to escort the winning coach to a location just off of the field. There is a seat that he will sit in. He'll be doused with the mayonnaise, and we're going to get it all captured on ESPN Plus. So make sure you tune in, and hopefully I'll grab an interview with the winner as well.
Pre or post mayonnaise
ESPN app. Join us there.
And Taylor will be sending that dry cleaning bill to Bristol, Connecticut.
Or to you, Anish. I don't know.
What did I do to Carrion Joyner? Here's Kevin Harris. See Taylor at halftime, though, getting into the proper mayonnaise gear.
She did. She understood. All right. We were expecting some showers today. Thankfully, they held off. The one shower we all wanted. The one coated in rich, thick mayonnaise.
Hey, listen, we're in uptown Charlotte. We're not far from a lot of really nice boutiques in South End. We got the South Park Mall up the road.
Excuse to expense a new outfit, maybe.
I'm just saying.
I'm just talking
those
out loud.
opportunities are there.
Put the expense report through, guys. Do the right thing.
Harris, what a game he's had. A marvelous redemption story in this bowl game. Flag at the 41.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense. Number 17. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
What do you think is going through Shane Beamer's mind right now?
Oh my God, I'm going to be covered in mayonnaise. It's starting to sink in. You can see that moment. Again, $10,000 going to the charity of their choice for the winning coach. And now's the point in the game. You get a lot of time to process those complex thoughts.
Juju McDowell caroms off one defender and then brought down in the backfield. Today's Capital One player of the game, DK Joyner. 9 for 10, 160 yards passing with a touchdown, 64 more on the ground. It took a creative play plan out of the gates for South Carolina. They didn't have really their quarterback down the stretch, Jason Brown, who had hit the portal. Zaquandre White, their top rusher this year, had opted out of the game. And DK Joyner ran some wildcat early. They threw the ball with him, hit some deep plays to Jaheim Bell. He's been a difference maker. So is Kevin Harris.
Set the tone right from the start. Both of them led a South Carolina offense that we've seen go hot and cold all year, scorching today.
And Joyner looking to the sideline. Play clock at 0. South Carolina calls a timeout.
South Carolina calls their second timeout of the half. 30 seconds remaining.
And you hear that South Carolina faithful that made the trip up here. Great turnout in Charlotte for this game. Starting to get excited about what they know is coming.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Come on, donuts?
I'm my father's son, baby. Love you, Dad. There's only one way we could finish this.
I don't know. I don't know. This is asking for a lot.
I know.
Oh, boy. That's what I get working with you all season. My culinary palate certainly has...
I'm finished in the donut.
Devolved.
All the above. All the above.
Oreo cookie. Aftertaste was okay.
Taylor, how are we feeling?
PB&J, yes. Donut, I'm a no. Taylor?
I'm a yes. I mean, I wouldn't choose it, but it's not terrible.
That's what I'm saying. They've all been a pleasant surprise today. And there was no reversal of fortune, which means we all get to walk out of here with our heads held high.
Oh, good. We're off camera. 3rd down.
Let the record show. I finished the donut.
Yeah, you did.
Mama didn't raise a quitter. Love you, Mom.
Now, for those of us who have traveled with Mike Golick Jr. all season long, I mean, you've had some interesting ones. We were down in Mississippi, and your food of choice there was chicken on a stick, but specifically chicken on a stick from a gas station.
We've had gas station fried chicken. We've had barbecue down in Tennessee. We've been in New Orleans, had a cinnamon roll the size of my head. I'm a bloodhound sniffing out carbs.
Kevin Harris. And it's 4th down. A timeout, 54 seconds to go. 182 rushing yards for Harris. A couple of coaches who've got an awful lot of respect for each other and their families. Shane Beamer's dad, Frank, longtime Virginia Tech coach. Frank coached against Mack Brown back in 1987. Mack was at Tulane, Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech. The families got to know each other. When Frank and Mack got to go on Nike trips, the wives got to know each other. Mack got to see Shane grow up, and when Shane Beamer was hired at South Carolina, one of the first calls to his parents came from Mack Brown.
Mack Brown said, I'd watch Shane grow up on the Beamer family Christmas card that we got each and every year. But you can see both of these coaches so proud of this family association, the affiliation, and such deep respect.
3rd field goal attempt for Parker White, and if he makes this, he'll tie Colin Mackey's school record for made field goals. White's kick is good. A couple of records set by Parker White today. Set the school record for career points, breaking Elliott Fry's record. He set the school record for field goals attempted and tied now the school record for field goals made.
There's all these conversations, Anish, about bowl games and meaning. But for South Carolina, a great opportunity to springboard into next year, like we said, where they're excited about Spencer Rattler. But what you just talked about there with Parker White and so many of these players out in the field today, there was a great finish to this 2021 season that they wanted to make sure they put the proper stamp on.
Now there is energy. The sandstorm is swirling in Columbia. You've got Spencer Rattler, as you said, and Austin Stogner coming in if Josh Vann comes back. Jaheim Bell looks like this could be a sign of a breakout 2022. You get a healthy Kevin Harris if he comes back. All of a sudden, South Carolina might be able to make a little noise next year in that SEC East. A touchback for North Carolina. Let's see if Sam Howell comes out for one last drive. He has not announced whether he will turn pro. Did not want to be a distraction before the bowl game. We talked early on about why he's playing. It meant something to him. Last year in the Orange Bowl, a number of key players for UNC opted out. Howell will remain on the sideline. He's going to get a lot of hugs. Drake May, who will compete for that starting quarterback job next year, along with Jacoby Criswell, on the field for this final UNC drive. One of the first families of Chapel Hill, his pass to Brooks is dropped. Dad Mark played football at UNC. Everyone knows brother Luke, a legend for what he did on the hard court, winning a championship for Roy Williams. Had another brother, Cole, who played baseball at Florida. Shane Beamer, a lot of smiles on that South Carolina sideline, going to 7-6. And hey, for Sam Howell, his first career game in the stadium against South Carolina. His last career game potentially in this stadium against South Carolina. And who knows, as we get some flags flying, the team that plays in this building on Sundays, the Panthers, they are in the market this offseason for a quarterback. Now, they don't have a second or third round pick and maybe would have to do some maneuvering with that first round pick. But a lot of people in the Charlotte area would be pretty happy if Sam Howell was drafted by the Panthers.
You saw on display all season, and even the decision to come back today, I think the hallmark for him.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 5. That's his first. 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. It's third down.
You don't want to see that at the end of the game. J.J. Jones, the freshman.
Emotions running high there, but just to put a bow on that for Sam Howell, what you're going to get as an NFL team, incredible competitive toughness, right? Going in, not feeling 100% to the North Carolina State game, what he's done coming back to this bowl game. You saw it in the way he approached his role on the team this year. I think that's going to impress a lot of NFL teams as they get to look at him in the pre-draft process.
Capital One post-game on the ESPN app. That's where you can see the Mayo dump on Shane Beamer. 4.5 gallons of twangy Duke's mayonnaise about to be poured on Shane Beamer. He was telling us, hey, my kids like to hug me. So it's actually a good thing this will be staged in the tunnel and not on the field so his kids can give Dad a hug after the game. That's just the first bath today. That's just Gatorade. That was the opening act. Drake May takes off and slides down. They mark him down where he began the slide, so at the 34, a yard shy, 4th down, and that's going to do it. South Carolina puts a capper on its season with a win in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. They're 7-6. Shane Beamer, first year as a head coach, ends with a bowl victory and an upcoming mayonnaise bath.
Infectious energy as we see him and a guy he considers a mentor in Matt Brown in the center of this field. Anish, the energy he's injected in this program from day one. Players talk about seeing him there early in the morning, working out, coming in, setting that tone for the team.
Taylor McGregor with Shane Beamer.
Thanks, Anish. Coach, you just got to hug your family. What's going through your mind?
Just, this is so awesome. I'm so happy for our fans. What a day to beat a great team like North Carolina. Honestly, I'm thinking, oh my God, I got to go do this Mayo bath now, to be honest with you. But man, just so proud of our players, the way they worked all month. And then to come out here, we're so short-handed at defensive back. We're missing so many DBs today, missing people on offense, but just like our guys have done all year, they didn't flinch, just came out here and battled, and so happy for them. They deserve this. To have not been in a bowl game since 2018 and to come out here and play like we did today against a great team, it's pretty awesome.
You took a 2-win team to 7 wins and a bowl victory. How?
Great kids, great support from the administration, and just it's amazing what just a little bit of confidence and a little bit of joy will do, and that's what we did. We tried to build their confidence up. We talk about love all the time in this program, and I love every single one of these kids. I mean, we had a team meeting last night, and it was one of the most emotional team meetings I've ever been a part of. Just guys talking about what they mean to each other and things like that. And these super seniors to come back this year when they didn't have to, and then to lead us to a win here in Charlotte over North Carolina, it doesn't get any better than that.
Your players talking about what they mean to each other. What does a Mayo bath and $10,000 to charity mean to you?
It means we won, but that's about the only good thing about it, to be honest with you. I got the Gatorade, they got my son with the Gatorade, and now I got to go do the Mayo bath, so it kind of like warmed me up for the Mayo bath, I guess.
We can't wait, Coach. Thanks for your time. Manish, back to you.
It's not the same. It's not the same. And when you mix Gatorade with mayonnaise, Lord only knows what that will turn out to be. Go to the ESPN app. We'll have the post-game trophy presentation and the Mayo bath on the app. This was a lot of fun. They did a great job with this bowl. You're happy for Shane Beamer. North Carolina, a lot to look forward to as they continue to build this under Mack Brown as well.
South Carolina, though, established a physical tone from the outset of this game here. The job they did up front, the quarterback rotation, such an impressive first bowl showing from Shane Beamer.
Are we going to run downstairs to watch the Mayo bath?
I'm already sprinting.
Turn to the app to see the Mayo bath. But for now, we get you down to Miami with Kevin Negandhi.